Shepardson is chief economist at Pantheon Macroeconomics, and Michael Strain is director of economic policy studies at the American Enterprise Institute. Welcome to you both. Michael, let me start with you. What do you think the odds are of a stimulus bill coming if we maybe game out the different scenarios? In what scenario would it be most likely to happen before the end of the year, and in what scenario would it be least likely, do you think?
Well, I guess the most likely scenario is a scenario where President Trump wins re-election and the Republicans hold the Senate, because that kind of freezes in place a political status quo that makes the election less important and that makes the turnover to a new Congress and a new presidential term in January less important. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I think, like everybody else, that the smart money is on Vice President Biden winning. The least likely scenario, I guess, is the flip of that. If there are big gains for the Democratic Party in the Senate, if the party expands its majorities in the House, if Vice President Biden gets elected tomorrow, then I think there's going to be a lot of pressure in the Democratic Party to just hold off and wait until January to pass another stimulus bill.
Say that again, Michael. So if in the event of a Biden win, you think the pressure would be to hold off? And obviously, you got to wait until you get the Senate in and everything. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the pressure would be to hold off until after Vice President Biden is sworn in as president in late January. There would just be a lot of pressure in the Democratic Party to say, hey, let's wait a couple of months and design the bill that we would want to design.
Ian, let me ask you about that, especially because does it matter what that margin is? So if the Senate is 51-49 Democratic versus more than that, and obviously we have to keep asking the question, what if that anticipated outcome doesn't happen? Do you see a scenario in which, even with a blue wave, that COVID gets bad enough, Ian, that there's motivation, bipartisan motivation to say we've just got to get something passed here while we can?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, we could be, heaven forbid, but we could be at 200,000 COVID cases a day within a couple of weeks from now. We could be seeing, I think we're likely to see the number of people in hospital above the peaks that we saw in the summer and in the spring by Thanksgiving. And we're going to see a steady increase in the number of people in ICUs. All the numbers are deteriorating. I can't really see anything good in the COVID data. So that should, in an ideal world or in a normal world, that should result in a policy response. But we have to contend here with the politics, with a small p, of the lame duck session of Congress. And it will depend, I think, substantially on the attitude of some of the Republicans who are vulnerable in 2022. I know it's painful to be starting to think already about the midterms, but I promise you that people who are up for re-election in 2022 are thinking about it very hard. And there's a bunch of vulnerable Republicans in 22 who may well put a lot more pressure on McConnell to bring a COVID relief bill in the lame duck session than they were prepared to bring before the election. So there's still a great unknown here over the attitude of Senate Republicans to passing something in the face of horrible COVID numbers during the lame duck session. So I'm not going to bang the table and say that any bets are on or off. I'm prepared to be open-minded here because I think there's a lot of possibilities still.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.